Hello and welcome everybody back to the Inside Our Galaxy podcast. I am your host, Eric Hernandez. As always, we got to talk about our Open Cup win against LAFC. We win 2-0 going up there at BMO Stadium. Should we be proud that we beat their C team? Well, I guess, yeah, a win's a win. We don't have many of those this season, but yeah, we move on into the US Open Cup. And yeah, we're going to talk about that and give our thoughts about that game. And then we also have a preview for our upcoming match against Charlotte FC at Dignity Hill Sports Park this Saturday. So yeah, good conversation all around, and it should be a good episode so far. And with me, as always, is my co-host, LA Galaxy Central. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. The Galaxy finally won, so that's great. And yeah, let's get it started. It's finally good we picked up any sort of win against any level of competition, so gotta like it.
Yeah, it's not every day we get a win, especially this season. So yeah, like I always say, when we get a win, let's cherish it because we don't know when's the next one. For all we know, we don't get another one at all this season. But we get a win in the US Open. We move on into the next round, beating LAFC 2-0, like I said in the beginning of the episode. One goal by Tyler Boyd, one by Ricky Puig. And so yeah, we get a shutout at BMO Stadium, which is not an easy thing to do, regardless who they field in. It's never an easy game to go play at in that stadium. So yeah, we ended up winning 2-0. For the most part, I think we can agree that this wasn't the best performance by the Galaxy. I guess we could be appreciative of the win, but not really. Still though, there were still some issues on the field. There were still some issues all around, and I think for the first half, it was pretty dreadful to watch. If I'm going to be honest with you on that one too. Um, but yeah, there were still some issues in this game, but there was some positives in this one. And but yeah, what are your thoughts on this game? Give me your thoughts on this one.
It just kind of felt like more of the same from the Galaxy. Like a lot of our same issues are still, I guess, a thing. And we got away with it in the first half because of the players LAFC had on the field. If LAFC played their full starters, I don't think we're going to that half 0-0, to be honest. And it just looks like we're making a lot of the same mistakes. And I guess it's kind of unfortunate. But in the second half, it got a little bit better. We started to play a little bit better, or just overall found our two goals and ultimately kept the clean sheet. It's something we should have done, but yeah, it's good we're moving on in the tournament. There's still a lot of work to do, and I guess we'll just move forward with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the Galaxy sort of underplayed this LAFC team because I don't know. Maybe they saw this lineup and they were like, oh, you know what? Like we dominated a B team, C team Sounders in the round before. We could probably do the same thing against this LAFC team, and I think they kind of underestimated them in a sense. Like they did struggle. There was a lot of chances that LAFC had that they could have really, it could have been like 3-0 in the first half. Like they had really good chances in this game. And luckily they didn't. Luckily, Klinsmann blocked a lot of their shots, which I think he was one of the key players in this game. If it really wasn't for him, this would have been, at least one goal would have gone in, but no goals went in. That's a good thing. But yeah, really, this LAFC team did show some fight for being their, their MLS Next Pro team or whatever the case, their C team, D team, whatever you want to call it. They did show some fight, and I think they did get this Galaxy team struggling at some points. But once that second half happened, that's when we saw a little bit more of the momentum shift. We got, once we got that first goal, once Tyler Boyd came into the game, which by the way, like I said last episode, we got to feed Tyler Boyd some of these opportunities because look what he did. The guy went in and immediately was a difference maker in this game. Ends up putting us on the board, and then of course Ricky does his thing. He takes on like the whole defense. He gets his goal. But yeah, first half was really bad. That was one where it was just like, wow, I didn't think we were gonna win this one because of that first half, but then luckily second half that whole momentum shifted, and we got the two goals, we kept the clean sheet, and that's good. Even if it was this underwhelming or just not the best fielded team that LAFC put on there, a win's a win. I'll take it, but I don't know if I'm like overly happy about it. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, LA's blue, white, and gold. I'm not gonna be like complete flexing over this win, but hey, I'll take it. It's a rivalry win. We'll still take those regardless. But I don't know. For you, did it feel kind of like maybe not an underwhelming win, but it just didn't feel like an El Trafico win for you? Did you feel that?
I mean, back to your earlier point when you said you think we underestimated LAFC. I don't think we underestimated them. I just don't think we're a very good team. I mean, we're last in the league for a reason. We don't have a very good tactics. We don't have the players that we need to be successful. And I think you saw that in the first half. And then in the second half, we figured some things out. But I don't think it was us underestimating them. Like, who would we be underestimating in last place? Like, we really needed to get a result. I think the effort was there, just the tactics and players weren't. But yeah, for this win, I mean, it's nice to win away, of course. You're in a major tournament, and this is a major tournament in the USA. You're advancing in it. It's another good opportunity. It's a game you should have taken care of. So, like you said, I'm not gonna flex my muscles or I guess take off my jersey
Yeah.
or anything like that. But I mean, it's a good win. We get to move forward with that. And I mean, we've already said many times this year, like, could this be the turning point? But at this point, I'm just gonna say no because we have had wins and it has never been the turning point. So we'll just see where this goes in the tournament, I guess.
No, yeah, for sure. I don't want to say this is the turning point either because, I mean, we've had wins this season and we ended up shitting the bed the next game, which could be a possibility for Saturday. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, this was just I'll take the win. I think every Galaxy fan is okay that we get to move on in a major tournament, and we got the job done. That's all I asked for, because this would have been a much different conversation, a much different discussion if the Galaxy lost against this team. Like, we wouldn't even be here saying like, oh, we won, it's okay, like, we get to move on. We would probably be, you know just start just talking trash on everything and be all negative and stuff like that. And that would have been a different conversation if they would have lost. But luckily that wasn't the case, and we got our win. But let's talk a little bit about players. Anybody that stood out to you in this game, or anybody that kind of get positive, negative, anything that you saw in this one?
I mean, obviously Ricky Pooch was a huge positive. He was all over the field, just making things happen, being a difference maker as he should be. We all know he's usually a great player, one of the most consistent players on this team. So he was really good.
Yeah, I think Ricky was probably just the highlight of this team.
He
Uh,
was.
and Klinsman, I said Klinsman earlier.
Oh
He
yeah,
was,
Klinsman was great too.
yeah, he was great. That double save that he had, I think, what was in like I don't remember if it was in the end of the first half. Was it the end? The one that he had like on a Poku?
I think
Like,
there's like, yeah, it was about the end of the first half, but I think it would have been offside anyways. But it was still like they
it
didn't
was
know
it
that at
was
the
still a
time.
really good save. Like that, even offsides or not, that was still really good. Um, but yeah, I mean, Ricky Puig definitely was the highlight, on and off the field for this game,
Really?
because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, obviously you had his celebration where he took off his jersey and flexed it all over the 32-52, which I thought was pretty. I don't know, it felt kind of cheesy in a sense, because it's like, all right, like we're beating their C team, like let's not be
Yeah.
too um I guess too overhyped about it. But at the same time, you know what? That I didn't realize this is also Ricky's first El Trafico win. So like, I guess he has kind of a right to, flex and celebrate in front of the 32-52. And also his explanation too was basically more towards the fans rather than the team. Cause he was saying like that, I guess, when it comes to these type of rivalries, the fans tend to get a little bit disrespectful. And which is true on both sides. It gets disrespectful to whichever team you're playing on. But that's why he did the whole thing. And I guess he has kind of sort of a right to it, but it was kind of cheesy. And then of course off the field during his post interview, um, which is,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
A lot
Chiellini,
going on. Yeah.
yeah, Chiellini just coming in out of nowhere, like that was kind of like I don't know, it's just like, why, if you're gonna say that to him, like at least say it to his face,
I agree. Yeah.
like don't be a whole bitch about it, and honestly, it just looks worse on Chiellini because it kind of makes him salty about it when realistically, like, you have nothing to be salty about. You know that they just beat your reserve team. You know that you have the CCL final coming up this week. You're in a much better position, and then Chiellini just had to be a bitch all over it, which is okay because we get to make fun of him. So, um, but
I guess
but
so.
but still, but at the same time, it was like, if you're gonna say it to his face. Don't be a bitch about it. And and Ricky also kind of clapped back today too in a tweet, which is also pretty funny. Um, but yeah, I
Definitely.
mean, still though, even if this was a lackluster like El Trafico, I guess there was still drama in it. Like even if it wasn't entirely on the field.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really like Ricky Puja's taking off the shirt. I thought, like you said, it was kind of a bit cringe. Like it looked like if you just showed that photo to any fan, you would have thought it was like the conference finals leg two or something like that. Well, I was like, seriously, I'm like, that's a little bit much. Like just for like when you consider the opposition on the field and considering we're like in last place or now, it's like, all right, I don't know if that was necessary, but it does make for a cool photo in my camera roll. I'll give him that. But
Yeah, I mean it does. I mean the photo that they posted afterwards that looked fire, but at the
yeah,
same time, like if you show that, like you're right though. Like if you show that photo with no context,
just to anybody.
you would think like, oh yeah, like he just scored a last minute winner for the conference final or whatever. But in reality, it was like, oh no, it's just him flexing on the LAFCC team. It's like,
I guess. I mean, but it's kind of fun for the rivalry though, because like obviously all the LAFC fans are getting very pressed over that, and it's kind of funny to see.
yeah,
But
I mean it's funny. It is pretty funny, like on
I
both
enjoy
sides
it.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for Chiellini, I also agree with you. Like, I mean, I get he thinks like he's a little bit childish doing that, but like if you're gonna say something, like don't say it like in the middle of an interview. Like what I personally would have done if I was Chiellini, I would have waited for an interview to be done. Then I probably would have like called him to the side, like, hey, come over here, and not try to fight him or get start arguing. Maybe just like have a talk with him, like, hey, what are you doing? Like, this is our reserve team. Show some respect, or just like kind of just talk to him a little bit. Try to be a bit more mature, not like say like, oh, you clown little bitch, like things like that. Like I don't know. I feel like Chiellini should have just like, if he wanted to say something, he really should have actually said it to his face instead of just saying it and walking away.
Yeah, like really, it just looks worse on him. Like
Honestly, I wouldn't mind Chiellini actually like talking to Pooch after the game because I do think Pooch's maturity has to be a little bit better. Like you saw after the Columbus game, he immediately went on Twitter, talked about that red card, which is like, yeah, it might have been a red card, but that's not the reason we lost the game. And then, yeah, taking your shirt off against like a team's reserve team. I mean, when we're in last place, is that really necessary? I mean, if Chiellini wanted to have a talk with Pooch about like maturity, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind that, but like, I don't know, in the middle of an interview, just saying that and walking away is like, all right, come on.
yeah, like I mean, and if anything, it's just kind of reversed on him. Like it's like really, who is the clown? Like at that point, like Rick, like yeah, sure, Ricky did something which I think was kind of, like I said, kind of cheesy, but you doing that and not even saying it to his face kind of makes you wonder who really is the clown in that situation, and who really needs to be more mature. Because for a 38-year-old, world class player who's done like everything in his career, like what was the point? That there really was no point, and you just look like a bitch for that. Like there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Go take the win.
yeah, but yeah, what doesn't matter? We won, and we'll take the win. Anything else you want to say about this game, or any other points you want to take?
No, I mean, if we're not going to do shit in the regular season, we might as well go all in this tournament. Like I looked at the bracket, it looks winnable, definitely. Like we're going on the road to Colorado or Salt Lake next game. Then after that, we play one more game, and then let's say win that, then we're in the final of the tournament. So if we're not going to do good in the regular season, just put all our eggs in that basket.
Yeah, I agree. But even then, like despite who we go against, whether it's Colorado or Salt Lake, I think that's going to be a tough game
Oh,
because
it
I
will
think
be,
it
but like it's
because
winnable though. Like
I agree it's
it's not like
winnable.
one of the elite teams in the league. Like it is a winnable game, but every game's tough for us. We're in the position we are right now.
That's true. But I'm just saying in general because usually when Galaxy go either whether it's Salt Lake or Colorado, it tends to be kind of difficult for them. And we've kind of explained this before whenever we do previews, like going up to those places, it's well obviously one altitude, like there's environmental like factors into that game, and then also just the atmosphere and where they go play. It's like kind of like a sneaky like way to like it's kind of one of those places where it's tough to play just considering what the environment is over there. You know what I mean? So, but I do agree. I think if the Galaxy aren't going to do good in the regular season, we might as well go all in the U.S. Open, and it seems kind of clear that they want to do that. Like I think that they're focusing on that, and like I said, it's a good thing. And I know some people might say like, well, let's not try in the U.S. Open because if we win the U.S. Open, that kind of secures a job for Klein in a sense or whatever. Which I mean, I guess in a sense people might think that, but at the
I just
same
want a
time,
trophy anyways, though.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's a trophy. I'll take it. But yeah, I do agree that for the U.S. Open we should try, and depending who we go up against, which is decided, as we're recording, it's decided today. I think that game plays later on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's more
whether
closer.
it's Colorado or Salt Lake, it's going to be a tough match. But I do agree that this could be a, you know, it could be doable for us to go all in. So I do agree on that. Um, but anyways, I kind of went on too much on that. I think we can go into our preview of Charlotte, unless you have any other points.
No, I think that's it.
All right, then let's move it on to Charlotte. So yeah, like I said, we take on Charlotte FC this weekend at the Dignity Hill Sports Park. Charlotte right now are in ninth place with a record of 5-3-6 in the Eastern Conference. So right now they're in a playoff spot. And yeah, I mean, last year we played Charlotte, ended up being the highest or the largest attendance in an MLS game. But now Charlotte comes over here to LA, and that might not be the case when it comes to attendance, considering where we're at. But yeah, Charlotte right now they're doing okay. They've kind of been in there in the conversation. But what do you think about Charlotte? How do you feel going into this game?
Well, I definitely think it's a winnable game. Usually Charlotte is very good at home, but on the road they have really struggled. I think last year they were one of the worst road teams in the league, and this year I don't believe they're very good on the road either. So I think at home it's definitely a winnable game. Maybe winning a rivalry game, even though in the sense we won it, will give us a little bit of confidence. But I mean, I don't know. Like with the way we're playing right now, like we are playing an MLS level opposition, and Charlotte's not going to rotate their team. We're going to have to be an MLS level team, which I know is kind of hard for us this season, but it's definitely a winnable game. I think if we get our best players on the ball, like Pooch has another good game, maybe we try to get Chicharito going, which is again kind of a struggle last game, but we need to get some of our players going. But I do think overall this can be a winnable game for the Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that like I said, Charlotte's in the mix. I think it is a doable game for, in my opinion, and if they do somewhat build momentum off of this El Trafico win, you know, hopefully that is the case, and they go all in this one. And you're right, we don't, we can't rotate in this game. We can't reserve some of our players or anything like that. We actually have to use, we have to be an MLS team, like you said. It's not like we're playing anybody, below that. So, um, yeah, I definitely think that going up against Charlotte's a doable game and at home. And so, yeah, I just hope for the best for that one because, we need these wins. And, so far May has been kind of rocky. It's been kind of rough. We've had some good wins in here and there, but, we still need MLS wins because we've had two US Open Cup wins. We need MLS wins now from here on out. So,
That's why I just showed you the U.S. Open Cup like graphic, like you say, like oh the Galaxy conquered the two best teams in the league, but like then you look at it, it's like not so much.
yeah, for real, huh? And those two teams are what I think like they're fighting for the supporter shield, Seattle and
They're 1-2 in the West right now.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, because I think Cincinnati's like first in like supporter shield standings. But yeah, but regardless though, like if you look at that, it's like it's much different than going into the MLS season. So but yeah, I think Charlotte is a doable game. So I just hope that we do go in there with all the momentum that we got, and hopefully these guys don't show anything worse than that. But to be honest, because of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if we shit the bed like we always do. So
Again, another 3-0 loss, no goals, just letting in goals.
I mean,
Like
I really wouldn't be surprised if that's
it
the
always
case.
happens though this year. I mean, I can't blame you for thinking that.
Yeah, it's like you can't really be like, oh yeah, like they're gonna fucking go all in, and it's just like, well, no, they can shit the bed. And I've been right a couple. I mean, I've been right every time I said that, to be honest. So, but yeah, hopefully those guys coming off that win, they start doing good, and even some players who aren't doing good this season, hopefully they start stepping up too. Like I know we talked about Chicharito last week, or the last episode. And honestly, in this game against youngsters as well, kind of going back to the LAFC game, that was a player where I was like, man, like, yeah, you look sloppy. Like you really do look bad. And I think he does need to step it up, and hopefully he steps it up here against Charlotte. You know?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Any other points or keys to this game that you want to talk about?
I mean, time is ticking. I think pretty soon, like if we don't start picking up wins, we're about to say that the season's over basically because we're going to be in too big of a hole to dig ourselves out of. So, I mean, it really is kind of now or never for the Galaxy.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, we kind of said last episode too. Like, was Vanny going to be on the sidelines, or was there possibly going to be somebody fired? maybe after this game,
I
if
think he got
something,
himself an extra week or two,
he,
maybe.
he definitely got himself another extra week for sure. But if you see it in Charlotte where it's another 3-0, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we'll have those conversations again.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh,
mean,
if we lost to LAFC, I think Vanny's like fired today. I'm
oh
not
no,
gonna lie.
100%. I don't. If we would have lost that game, yeah, he was done. Like I really don't think he would have been. We wouldn't even say his name and coming up into this game. So
You and I would be the new head coach and assistant coach.
maybe, who knows? We might do a better job.
Imagine
It
they
might.
actually like email us like, hey, like you're invited.
They should get my dad. My dad's had experience with the youth level. Maybe he can do something in the pro level. Get somebody like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but no, I mean, regardless though, hopefully Charlotte could be the turnaround. But like I always say, we can only hope for the best, and we'll see.
We've been hoping for the best, and it has not come yet.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I should put that on like a shirt. We can only hope for the best. Like that should be a t-shirt that I can make.
It should be. It really should.
You know what? If anybody's interested, comment or whatever on if this goes on. I don't think I had camera issues in this video, so hopefully, we can post it. But regardless, if anybody's interested in a shirt like that, comment down below. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I mean, I'd wear it. I think they would do good. I really think they would.
If you had like the whole Galaxy's team on it, like too, like we can only hope for the
Yeah,
best.
we could only hope for the best.
That would work. I would like that.
I think that would be a good shirt to have.
It would be.
So if anybody wants to help out on that, hit me up. But anyways, now I think I think that's gonna do it for the show for this one. Can't thank you guys enough for watching and listening. If you want to follow us on social media, go follow me at Insider Galaxy on Instagram, on Twitter. If you want to go follow LA Galaxy Central, go follow him on Instagram. And yeah, go follow us on the social medias. Anything you want to say to the listeners before we go?
That'll do it.
All right, then let's move it on out. All right, then. But yeah, be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast whenever you're listening to this podcast. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. And hopefully we get the 3 points on Saturday. Hopefully. Like I said, we can only hope for the best.
That's what you're saying now. We can only hope for the best.
We can only hope for the best. But anyways, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and G's up.
7 words